All right, 12, rock and roll. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to this presentation. My name is Fianna and I work at SideFX. And yeah, well, welcome. So for those of you who are attending this presentation because you read it, the title and the description, I have to give the usual disclaimer of the stuff that you're about to see may or may not make it into a future Houdini build. Also that it may entirely change from what you see today. So now I have that out of the way. For the rest of you who are here because you were too lazy to leave from the previous presentation, we are going to be looking at a couple of tools, mostly relating to like geometry, modifying geometry, some modeling tools, and some UI stuff. So the title is CG Blacksmithing, and you're thinking like, what is that? Yes, it's a term I made up. So just look proper with the definition and everything. But basically, I was looking for like, you know, like a container to just wrap around the things that I want to show you guys today. And the closest thing is like a blacksmith, like a CG blacksmith, because blacksmiths are working with metalwork, forging things with tools, and we are like people that work with different geometry types, curves, polys, NURBS, whatever. And we are using tools to modify that in Houdini. So that's the meaning of that. So now you can all sleep tonight. So, and then for the description, like I wrote something about a smörgåsbord. That's a really bad attempt at the Swedish pronunciation of that word. But yeah, this is like a, you know, like a buffet mix of things. But because this is half an hour, we don't have time for others. So I've kind of put them together in like 4 rows. So basically it's like the first one would be topo build, polygon edit. And for those of you guys who are not familiar with topo build, it's originally made for resurfacing high resolution geometry. So if you are bringing in a 3D scan object or like a sculpt from like ZBrush or Mudbox or 3D Code, Blender, you can bring it in and template your geometry and draw on top of that, and it will like project onto your geometry. And there's like a number of tools in there that you can use to edit your surface. And because people were liking the functionality of the tools inside Topo Build, but they wanted to create just as easily polygons without having to template, because people were templating their like original geometry, and that was like consuming like CPU resources unnecessarily. So we made the clean like a tool for just working with and creating polygons. So those two things, Topo Build and Polydraw, are pretty much the same thing, just without the need for templating geometry. And then we have edit, which yeah, if you're like tweaking some edge or point or primitive, then it will record that information. But inside edit SOP is also like a whole lot of hidden tools, I guess, maybe, if you're like using that for the first time. If you right mouse button click, you can see like a bunch of tools that are available to you. So those 3 things will have something in common that is like a new functionality. Then we have point weld, we have copy to points, and then this thing called quick navigate. Or I'm calling it quick navigate. So we'll start with the copy to points first. So this new copy to points is a lot faster for instancing different geometries on different points, especially when the topology doesn't change. But also the setup is a little bit more user-friendly, maybe. Specifically, there's the piece attribute option that is built in to this new copy to points. And then there's also the prim and point option for a source group. So yeah, right, like who want to see recorded videos? You guys want to see? No. I don't have any, so let's go full force. So in the existing build today, so we're going to look at a couple of geometries that we want to copy to. So let's create a grid, and we're going to use the copy to points. So previously there was the copy stamp workflow, but then we upgraded that to copy to points and then using for each. So we're going to be looking at that today. So let's just plug those guys in, and so there I have my instance geometry on all the points of that grid. Just going to rotate this 90, and there's my pieces, right? But then I want, actually, I'm just going to put them inside each face, like face center of the grid. And I want to get the rest of those pieces there. So how do I do that? Well, I have to put there a switch node and plug these guys in. And then I need that for each. So pop that guy, this one here, and then this guy in here. And we're going to create the meta import node. And we still have the same, but we have to write a little expression. Let's see, oops. Whoa, why is my keyboard giving me an underscore? This is so strange. Wow, of course this is going to happen. Why can I not do a bracket? Oh, okay, sorry. All right, thank you guys. Teamwork. Okay. So go dot, and we're going to find that for each metadata iteration. And we have some of, like, all of the pieces are showing up, but how do we get that to randomly distribute across the grid? So we have to write an additional fit and randomize. Another bracket. Okay, so we need to just like duplicate this guy and this guy, and I think that's it. Okay. No, I don't actually need those. All right, so you can see that I have those instances. There's the packet instance. By the way, this is the existing UI. We're going to just change this up to see like the performance, and it's maybe not super obvious that it's like, well, it's calculating now, right? So that took like a second maybe, but like if you have a ton more things to put into your scene, it can take up the time. So we're gonna go to the new one, and this is, I'm gonna put down the new copy to points. And with this, you can see the interface is different. We're gonna turn on the pack-in instance, and this is the piece attribute option that's built in. So we're gonna make the attribute, give each of those tiles the name. So let's put the wrangle, and we are going to variant and start giving them the name. So one for each guy. This one is 1, 2, and 3. And we're just going to plug that into each. I know it may seem like it's taking more time, but I don't know, I found that maybe this is a bit more user-friendly. So we're going to create the variant attribute that we just put there. And now attribute randomize. So plug that in, and then we'll do a merge instead of a switch. Grab all those guys, stuff it in there, and we have the color randomization, but we'll just put variant, and it's not showing up because we didn't turn that on. So, oops. Hello. Why is this not showing up? Oh, fun. Sorry, guys. Hold on. So each of those pieces should appear. Whoops. What is the issue? Oh, yes, we didn't change the type to integer. Ta-da! Okay, so they're all instanced on that grid. And yes, it looks the same, but the thing about this method is that now you can, well, let's scale this up so that you can see better. You can see the varying or the random seed. So the thing with this is that now if you have something else in your scene with the attribute name variant, it's not going to use the same global seed, so you will have true randomization of your pieces of geometry instanced across. And if I put that on a bigger object like this cat, lucky cat here, thank you BS3, you can see that it's pretty, it took like no time to load, right? Like I just clicked on it and it was already there. So that is the new copy to points. So what do we have next? I think it was the potatoes was the next item. So the TopoBuild Polygon edits, they all have the ability to slide your geometry across surface, but it doesn't really give you the precise control over where it slides, how it slides, and so you may lose the shape of your geometry that you spent time to build. But now we are looking at these options, and there's a few more, but these were the most interesting for me. There's the blend, edge, and match profile, and then match opposite profile. So what does that look like? Well, let's have a look. So we have these tiles as well. I'm just going to grab these guys, copy that over and mirror. So I don't actually want to work on each corner of this piece, which is like repeating. So what I've done is I've just clipped it to the quadrant, and then at the end I can mirror it to see. So I can modify things as I wish and see it update in the viewport. I'm going to use this guy that I already pre-prepared. And so you can see that this is the polydraw, but it's also in TopoBuild and edit. So if I enter the state, then I can see that I have this edge slide mode, which already existed before, but now I have this drop down for these different slide modes. So the blend is that it takes kind of like the most average of the thing. You can notice the points here at the end that it tries to adjust and find a good position or shape. Maybe it's better if I show it on this guy. So you can see that it tries to retain the shape and it doesn't just turn into a big pile of mess. There's the edge, which is good for if you have this hard edge here, you can click on the vertex, the point, and you don't lose that corner unless you want to, right? You can slide it across like so, and you just click on the point and move it along so it doesn't destroy the surface. The match profile, you can see here, so it will try to retain, you can see that the green highlight up here, So it tries to, even though you're moving away from the position, the initial position, it tries to retain that shape. So maybe if I do that from here, it will pick up this corner. Or I have to pick the match opposite. So it will flip that side. But you can see, if you had to normally do that, you would probably have to like select that and then just move it down. So this kind of like save you time to keep the original shape. There are other options as well, but these ones were most interesting for me. For the next one, we have the point weld, which you could previously do with a fuse stop, and also with PolyDraw, you could just weld the points together, but you weren't really ever sure, or at least I found it that, you didn't have the confidence that the points actually closed and that you didn't have any gaps on your surface. So here we have this point weld tool that allows you to interactively work with your geometry in the viewport, snapping first to last or last to first, and also the midpoint in between. And what does that look like? Well, that looks like this. So if we zoom in here, and we can even just like maximize that, and we do a point weld. So here you can see I highlight my point, and it shows me where I want to weld to. So it does that. And you as the operator, you're choosing like first to last, last to first, like the orientation, the order. For the midpoint, you can right mouse button click and enable that, or click here. And it will show you in that midpoint where the points will merge to. So that is, if you compare that to PolyDraw, the feeling, I'm on the edge slide, so I'm going to go into the edit one here, the build mode. You can still do the same, but it's much less, I don't know what's the word, like you don't have that confidence that it should be welding. So point weld is way more appropriate, I would say. So here, if I want to weld these guys to that, not the midpoint, I can do that very quickly. I don't have to drop any additional stops. I can just like keep on welding my points like so. And I don't have to care about the history or anything like that. Oh, okay. I was wondering why that was going away. So that's point weld. And the last one is quick navigate. So if you guys were using quick marks before, that's like a convenient way to navigate through your scene by saving positions in your network editor. But the thing is, you only have 5 slots to save those bookmarks. And if you know a specific node that you want to get to, but you don't want to have to like go up the object level and then back in some other nodes and travel like into a rabbit hole, you can just use this quick navigate option to find that place where you want to go, type the node, and it will go there. And it's not a control F like a find node, but here, I'll show you. So if we bring back our network editor, if you hit shift and then /, you get this fast find node window, and you can delete, like keep typing, and it will bring you back up to, you can see the list of things here. I'm at my top level. So if I want to go into my node here, I don't even have to type the whole thing, right? I can just hit /. Oops. Oh, I did anyway. So that didn't work like I said it would. But you can, it keeps wanting to go there. Object, and let's try the gizmo. So it will move to that spot, and if I want to go inside, then I want to go into the out geo, my null. I can go to that, and if I want to save that as my quick mark, I didn't have to like go to find that place. I can just hit Control 4, and if I want to go into a different place, right. And let's go into the attribute. So now I can just hit Control-3, set my bookmark, and just go between the two, but I didn't have to go back up and pan around, and sometimes your scene can get really heavy and crazy, and it's time consuming to move around. So that's a very quick way to teleport through your scene. So that is the quick navigate. And yeah, it feels kind of like light, but that's all I can show today. But there are like more things cooking at the SideFX kitchen. Yeah, I guess you guys will just have to wait. So that's it. Yeah, thanks. So I don't know that I can actually take any questions because these are like new things, but maybe I can try to answer something. Speechless. Oh, okay, one question. Yes.
So recently I was using the Tahoe or Polygon or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello.
Okay.
And when you do the split mode,
Yeah.
there are some instances where you could click on an edge and like it didn't actually take, so it'll drop down a point there. And there's no visual feedback unless you have the point display turned on. I was going to make a bug report for it a while ago, but never got to it. So I was wondering if that's anything you ever had come across with any of the Topo rebuild or Polygon.
Yeah, I also turn on the point display.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Because you were saying you weren't having any confidence when you're welding points together, and
Yeah.
that was something that I noticed quite often using the Polygon.
Yeah. Okay. What would you suggest as the expected thing?
I don't know, because it's like it was more of I was about to cut, but I escaped out or undid it, but it still left the original segmented point.
Okay.
Yeah. So
what was that?
I've had the same thing.
Okay. Yeah, I think like it's hard to say because I remember the discussions about like the behavior that is expected, and I think the options were that if you were to force the user to have to like enter or like do some sort of action to place that would kill the flow, right? So
well, that's what it was. It wasn't like 70% of the time it would drop down an extra node. I'll be going through slicing up geometry, and then like whoops, I clicked on the wrong spot, so I undid and it created a point, and that point was there, and I didn't notice until I like subdivided later on or something like that. So
yeah.
That's all.
Okay. Yeah, I think it's worth like going back to like go through that and just try to like clean things up, and yeah, there's like other things that I want to like tell you guys about, but like it's I think like obviously like modeling is kind of like one part of the software package, but like it makes sense to have the good tools to use in Houdini for this. It's a lot better
than it was before. So it's still progressive.
Yeah, and we have like things planned for the future. Like, I think it should be good. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah. Actually, can I ask like what you said you're using Topo Build or Polydraw more?
It wasn't.
Like, are you remeshing geometry or?
Remeshing anything. It was just creating some geometry or cleaning up
some
incoming geometry, and I think I was using Polydraw.
Okay.
Usually, the Topo Build was actually before we had Polydraw, so now I'm just kind of fixated on Polydraw.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is there a reason to use copy stamp for anything still? Because I've heard from multiple people like you shouldn't use the old one. You should use copied points.
I feel like
now.
a developer should answer that, but
Oh.
if you want me to answer it, then I would say don't do that. But that's my word is not God, so.
Okay.
Something else, guys? Yeah.
Thanks. Just one note. I would love to be able to see my quick marks in the tree view, like just some indication of where they are.
Quick marks in your
Because
tree?
I usually have 4 or 5, and then I forget where they are, and I bounce around looking for them.
You mean, what do you actually mean?
In tree view, just some way to know like there's a quick mark in that node. Like if I'm like, oh, I'm in dynamics, and I want to jump to there, I always just kind of forget where my quick marks are. Does that make sense?
No, not exactly.
So like a highlight, like, oh yeah, I did put down a quick mark there, a bookmark in that.
But it appears like when you set it.
Right, and then I always keep my tree view open, and I would love to see that there's a quick mark in a node. Does that make like once I'm out of that and I'm somewhere else working on the original, say, volume for a source, and I have the tree view open? Yeah, I'd love to see the ones where I have a quick mark highlighted or like a little number.
Like
an index.
Highlighted or like a
just a little way to say like quick mark 4 is inside that dot node or in that,
like somewhere. A little flaggy thing?
Yeah,
maybe?
just on, I can be like, oh yeah, where's that stupid quick mark? And then I'll be like, oh, it's down in there. So, because I always put them down and then forget where they are.
Yeah, I can like.
Does that make sense?
That. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. I don't know anybody that uses more than 2 or 3 at a time, but.
I just find that like I cycle through the numbers and then it's like,
yeah, that's what I do now. It's just,
so I guess it's like in a way it's good to limit it to just like 5.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you'll really be like, what
right.
was that?
And then the other question I had was, are you guys going to improve on volume modeling with volumes? I use VDB Combine all the time for stuff like that.
I can't answer
that. Okay.
But also I can't lie, so don't ask me. Something else? I should go for the next presenter? Yes.
It's not exactly a question, but could there be a way when you're editing points and merging point numbers together to preserve those point numbers so it doesn't mess up attributes that you assign to particular point numbers later on?
Yeah, good question. Yeah, maybe something for the future consideration, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Thank you.
Maybe something that like frees like the thing at some point.
Or like a point that it originally was 2 points and then it can just keep both point numbers on the same point.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that's it. Should I get off now? Yes? Okay. Thank you guys.